Spirit. I choose you, Spirit! Sorry, I just read what I said. Whoa, this entire experience is being carefully crafted to avoid an IP infringement lawsuit! Let's be careful with the crutch faces, will you? Really? You want to hear from me? Spirit huffs and dramatically rolls her eyes as she gets to her feet in front of the campfire. Don't let her talk you out of it. She's great with ghost stories. I don't know what she gets it, but she comes up with the scariest stuff. Seriously disturbing, even to me. And I literally put a guy's skull and spine out once with my bare hands. Talk about bullshit stories. If everyone else is gonna chit chat, I guess I can just sit down and Huntress's eyes go right behind her mask, and both Trapper and Wraith take their seat. They know when it's worth fighting and when it's not. Well, I hate to break it to you, but tonight's story isn't scary. It's a romance! Too late now, though. I was selected, and so I'm gonna tell my story. I call it The Prisoner's Kiss. You notice that both Huntress and Wraith are both sharing a giant tub of popcorn? Nobody offered you popcorn. It was a dark summer night. Warm rain seeped from the sky like blood from an old wound. Detective Hotter. Really? Hotter? Of all the names you could have chosen, it's Hotter. Okay. A celebrated investigator and renowned hostage negotiator was called to the scene of a strange occurrence, unlike anything she had ever seen before. When she arrived, the scene was chaotic. Crowds had begun to gather. A dozen other officers were doing everything they could to keep curious onlookers away. But how could anyone resist wanting to know more? For there, in the middle of the busy market, had appeared a giant box. Strange, alien in its appearance, and massive in size. No one knew how it got there. Was it delivered? Built on site? Such a busy area. How would something like this just appear? A mystery, as if it was conjured by magic. But this was no illusion. The huge box was very real. And someone was trapped inside. Spirit pauses her story to look from face to face of each audience member. She has no expression, but you feel her vibrating with energy. She's in her element. Help me, cried someone inside the box. It was a man. Terrified. Trapped. Imprisoned. His voice trembling. By now, it was as if every detective in the city was there, looking at the strange structure up and down, inspecting it on every side. It didn't make sense. There were no doors, no windows, no fasteners or seams. It was completely solid, and much too heavy to move by hand. Solid, that is, except for a single small slit. Just enough to see the bloodshot eyes of the prisoner trapped inside. I don't know what happened. I woke up and here I was. I'm so scared. Please help me, cried the man, as if pleading for his life. No stranger to tense situations. Detective Harder confronted the man. She used her training to calm him and buy time for the other investigators. However, time did not bring clarity, only anxiety, as the night dragged on with no progress opening the box. And as the night grew longer, the seeping rain puddling on the ground, the man inside grew more desperate, more sad and lonely, more pathetic and in need of help. But Detective Hada was no help at all. Powerless to save him, guilt began to weigh on her, like it never had before. "Don't let me die in here," the man begged. "Lord, don't let me die alone." "Stay calm," instructed Detective Hada. "You're not alone. I'm here. Hal, half of the town is here. We're all in this together. We won't let this be the end of your story." Looking through that narrowest of passageways, Detective Hada watched her own reflection in the tear-filled eyes of this strange, sad prisoner. Together, they both wept in silence at the hopelessness of the moment. "Promise?" asked the man. "Promise that I'm not alone?" "Yes," she promised. "I do." A simple pledge. She felt an instant connection like she had never felt before. Not to her family, not to her friends, not to any of the other hostages she worked so hard to free before. And so, when the man's eyes closed and beckoned away, it didn't scare Detective Hada, for she knew he would return. And he did. Pressing his lips up to the narrow slit in this horrible puzzle box, paying his question again, staying flowing from his mouth as he asked, "Promise? Promise that I'm not alone?" "Yes," she promised. "I do." And pressing her palms against the code outside of the box, without truly knowing why, Detective Hada leaned forward and placed her own lips up to the opening, letting her breath creep into the strange structure, allowing her warm lips to fall on this man's. It was a gentle kiss, a moment of compassion. She could feel in this brief contact the beating of her heart, pulsing blood through every inch of her body, meshed beat for beat in this soft touch. "Thank you," said the man, no trace of fear remaining in his voice, and he beckoned away into the darkness, disappearing in a single moment of airy calmness. "Get back!" yelled an officer, suddenly thrusting himself between Detective Hada and the box, breaking a silence that would soon be filled by a cacophony of whirring gears and clicking latches. A symphony of mechanical activity happening all at once. Something had triggered, as if an unseen lever pulled, and the side of the giant box began to slide open. Detective Hada gripped her flashlight tightly and pushed forward into the foggy interior of the giant box. Her feet splashed in the puddled rainwater, her heart racing. Sorry. As she swept her light from side to side, and that's when her eyes laid on the man, or at least landed on what should have been him. There, in the corner of the box, was a pile of pieces, like parts of a doll, almost pulled apart, or perhaps that's just how Detective Hada had to think of him in that moment to survive. collection of segments, limbs, pieces, disconnected from one another, cleanly severed, and placed in a neat little pile. And atop that pile, a head, cold, pale. The eyes are open, lips an icy blue. Spirit stares at the fire, her own expression lifeless, her lips blue. Tears fall from her chin and soak into the sand at her feet. You're blown away by the story, and it's safe to say you're not alone. Everyone else is looking to the fire up at the sky, anywhere but its spirit. It was you who chose her. You who initiated this harrowing tale. So sad. So creepy. So sensual? She really went into great detail when it came to describing that kiss. Too much detail, and now no one is sure how to act. Dwight and Claudette are staring daggers at you. You have to do something! This game is supposed to be a lighthearted round. Please! I said do something! You know? I don't narrate things often. I think the only time I've actually narrated is in a voice go with Baron. And it was because I was doing Final Fantasy 14. I was doing the voice for, one of the NPCs. One of the robots. But that was the first time I've actually done, like, a horror story. I don't know how I did. Sorry, I mean romance. That was like my ASMR voice, kind of. I'd say. I don't know. I just went into... Yes. Did I do good, chat? Do I get praise? Well, I decide what I'm gonna pick. I'm not gonna say cool story, because that's sarcastic. Slow clapping is also sarcastic. You stand, without saying anything, approach Spirit, reaching your arms around her for a hug. Her robe, hovering in the air, begins to wrap itself around you and squeeze you into her. It's kind of like being hugged back. But also like being tied up. It's certainly not what you expected. Instinctually, you pull yourself away. That's an awkward movement. And you nearly fall over into the fire. Spirit says nothing and floats away, without so much as a goodbye. You, meanwhile, realize everyone had just watched this truly strange attraction from the corner of their eyes. On that note, everyone decides it's time to take a break and split up for a little bit, so they can all have a moment alone before bed.